where do you think, Jimmie, the number one most outstanding community development project is in that entire nation, judged by the National Development Council? Where do you think that might be?
So, I mean, I've got a clue that it's got to be somewhere close, right? It's got to be somewhere around here, right?
Yeah. It would be Shreveport Common. Have you heard of Shreveport Common? Is a 9-block area. It's on the eastern edge of Shreveport's oldest neighborhood, which is called Ledbetter Heights.
Yeah.
And it's the western edge of downtown Shreveport. And it's, of course, decades. For decades, this area has been, I mean, I don't want to be negative, but it's been blight. And it is now being revitalized in an award-winning way. It's been recognized, all over the nation.
I mean,
for what we're doing here in Shreveport.
If Shreveporters are involved, then we know there's an award involved somewhere.
Absolutely. So our life strategist this evening just happens to be the executive director of Shreveport Common, and she's Wendy Benscoter.
Ooh, so we get to talk to a boss today.
We get to talk to the boss,
yeah,
and we get to talk about. You as you explore, and as we're going to explore Shreveport Common today.
Yeah,
I mean, there's some pretty historic things.
Well, that's what gets me so excited about today, because I feel that. You feel that history lesson coming. Yeah.
How about the Strand Theater?
Oh,
how about the Scottish Rite Cathedral?
Yes.
How about the old Benezian Temple? How about Oakland Cemetery? How about the Logan Mansion?
Yeah.
How about Shreveport Municipal Auditorium?
Listen, I've got my paper. I've got my pen. I'm ready to take notes.
I could go on and on, but we let's get to our first break so we can get to Wendy.
Okay.
Hey, folks, thank you for tuning in to Strategies for a Living. And we're presented by the Robinson Film Center. We're presented by Azalea Cleaners. We're presented by Pintail Roofing.
Roof.
By Learning RX. By Hempress. Cannabis with Love, 3766 Uri Drive in Shreveport. We're presented by the Shreveport Little Theater. And by Prize Fest, a festival of film and food and music and fashion and stand-up comedy. Wendy Benscoter, our life strategist today. Shreveport Common. We're going to learn a lot about it. Stay right here on Strategies.
Reading begins not in the classroom, but in your child's brain. I'm Donisa Walker with Learning Rx Shreveport. If your child struggles to read, maybe he or she has trouble focusing or comprehending, Learning Rx Shreveport offers a science solution to reading problems, working one-on-one with your child, targeting his or her reading skills. Today, call Learning Rx Shreveport. Make an appointment to have your child assessed. I know you want to help your child, so does Learning Rx Shreveport.
Hi, this is Jay Merle for Pintail Roofing. Let's talk about quality. When you hire Pintail to build your roof, here's what you can expect. Quality and quality control are the most important concerns for us at Pintail, and you need to know that Pintail stands tall with swift and professional performance on any warranty call. This is our most important policy. And remember, we're your neighbors. We'll be here for you for the long haul. Our family's lived here for over 100 years, and we aren't going anywhere. On the commercial side of Pintail's business, our fluid-applied roofing solutions can save thousands of dollars over conventional commercial roofing options. Call Pintail at 226-ROOF for a free inspection of your home or commercial building. That's 226-7663. Pintail Roofing. What's the condition of your roof?
And welcome in. Welcome into Strategies for Living.
That's
You
right.
know, I forgot. I'm so excited about today. I forgot where I was. It happens sometimes.
That's the good stuff.
What's
That's
my
good
name?
Feeling.
What's my name? Am I Jimmy? No.
That's right.
No, I'm David.
Nope,
Okay.
you're David. There we go.
Let's welcome into
Got
the
me
program
confused.
now. Let's welcome into the program now the executive director for Shreveport Commons. She is Wendy Benscoter. She's been working with the Shreveport Regional Arts Council and the city of Shreveport on the arts-led revitalization of the endangered historic urban area. Wendy is a University of Texas Moody College of Communication graduate, got a bachelor's degree. Her background includes 20 years as an award-winning trainer and newspaper manager. She did that in Houston. She did that in Shreveport. She joined the Shreveport Common Initiative in 2011 with a one-year contract, and they hadn't let her go yet. They won't let her leave. Wendy, I hope they keep you and keep you and keep you especially as long as you want to stay. Welcome to Strategies for Living.
David.
Welcome.
Jimmie, it's good to be here.
I'm so excited, because we were talking. Let's pick on the old Benazine Temple.
All right.
as a starting point. Our mutual friend Eric told, when he was a life strategist, he gave us a little bit of information. He teased us more. He would tease us more than anything else, but he let us know big things were coming. But I'll turn 67 years old next in November, and I've passed by that building for years and years and years. I remember as a kid passing by there and looking and seeing it was, I remember it as a Knights of Columbus, which is a Catholic men's organization. And I always thought it was so strange that the Knights of Columbus sign was, backed up by the Star of David. and as a kid, you don't appreciate the history that's there.
No.
And the Shreveport Common, when you talk about history, wow.
There are a lot of incredible spaces, history, stories in that 9-block area.
Yeah. So how did all of this get started, Wendy? Give us the Jimmie won't know the reference here, but you and I know the reference. Give us the Reader's Digest version.
Hey,
I
resemble that.
Yeah, I know.
I'll do my best. When you give me an open window, I might just go on for 30 minutes.
That's what we want.
Y'all
That's
stop
fine.
me. Don't let me do that. This project really started in 2009 when the Shreveport Regional Arts Council's offices, which were in Princess Park,
Right.
were set fire by an arsonist. He was just setting fires in the area. He wasn't picking on them. But
Right.
they burned their offices to the ground. There was nothing left. And they were ready to give up, just go move into art space, which they had already started, maybe take the second floor. And the mayor
Right.
at the time, Cedric Glover, said, oh, no, today is a new day for the arts. And the reason he said that is that he had just graduated from a program called the Mayor's Institute for City Design.
Right.
National Endowment for the Arts has. And that's an important piece. Everything really that changes, that's a big change, has to have a catalyst.
Right.
And this was the catalyst, that the mayor knew that the arts could work with a community in what is called creative placemaking. Placemaking is how cities smartly plan, how communities live.
Right.
They have places that people can have an ecosystem, they have things to do, they enjoy each other, they get to know each other. Creative
Right.
placemaking puts the artists at the table at the beginning.
Right.
It's not about it's not about the artists saying what they want. It's about the neighbors saying what they want, and the artists helping all of us imagine how that could really happen
Right.
and be even better.
And then creating
And
that
then helping
space.
to create,
Yeah.
and then helping to create it. So part of that was a grant from the National Endowment for the Arts, Our Town grant, to help do a community process, and that's how I entered. I was asked to be the liaison for that community process in 2011.
Right.
That that really got deep, door-to-door listening sessions for over a year. We had a 50-member advisory committee of everything from neighbors to nonprofit stakeholders to people within the City of Shreveport department heads and the Caddo Parish Commission and all of the stakeholders that you would expect to be at a table.
At the table, right.
Met every 3 weeks for a year. Can you imagine that, keeping that many people together?
That's pretty awesome.
So
It
it's
is.
awesome.
It is.
And I don't want to go down that road because I have so many wonderful things to say about that process, and I will if you want me to.
I just
But
think it's. I
this-
think it's so awesome that the little bit of history that you told about the Shreveport, Regional Arts Council
Yeah.
having their headquarters having been destroyed
By
fire, and they end up. Where do they end up? They
In
end
a
up
fire station.
in Central Art Station, which is the old Central Fire Station.
Isn't that something?
I think when you think about the richness of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really is. And I don't know if a little anecdote, I don't know if you know that the original Shreveport Central Fire Station was burned.
I
And
did.
this was
I do
the
remember
second fire
something.
station
Yeah.
built in the
Where
early
was the
1920s.
original?
It was over just on the other side of Common Street.
Okay.
And so there is a lot to that, and I'll say that the success of Shreveport Common as a creative placemaking project, which is so much about listening and bringing the neighbors in, giving them voice, letting everybody listen to each other. That's not one person's idea. That's just the community can come together and each person do their part. And I like to say together, we are Shreveport Common.
Yes.
Is where we are today. That started with this process in 2011. By 2012, there was a vision plan that had been being worked on the whole time and being vetted by the community, for that whole year.
Right.
There was a 3D model made, a video that you could fly through so the community could imagine. It was difficult to imagine how this area, that when you say blighted, half the buildings in the 9 blocks had been taken down or fallen down.
Right.
So razed. Half of them. That's what all that concrete is. You think all that's parking lots, but it's not. Those were all buildings.
Those were all buildings,
Those
yeah.
were all buildings. And when
Wow.
we started, the 50% that remained, that remained, 64% of them were blighted. So this was an area that people were afraid to go down. They were afraid to go down there. They didn't want to go to graduations in the municipal auditorium. They were afraid of it. And,
Right.
what happens with blight is that, it takes 1 or 2 or 5 people, and all of a sudden you have a problem.
You have a
drug
problem.
other kinds of problems.
Well, what Shreveport Common has done has come in and said, we have a solution. Let us show you.
Yeah, but I got to stop you there. What Shreveport Common did, Shreveport Common, now I'm with Shreveport Common Inc., which is the redevelopment arm, and that wasn't even thought of yet in 2011. What the project did, and we didn't even have a name when it started, what the process did, let me get there, what the process did, because that's one of the reasons that we've had some big awards. MIT came in and studied the process and named us a leader in creative placemaking. The process brought the community together to focus on an area and say, what is it, what do you want here and what can we do to lift this area, and we'll all lift it together.
Yeah.
So it's not putting it on one person. There's no rich person. Now, I'll tell you, there was a time we thought, if somebody come in with some money and throw it at us, what could we do with $100,000? But that would have been terrible because no one organization or person can lift an area like this.
It's unfolded exactly as it should. Welcome to Shreveport Common. Wendy Benscoter is our life strategist today. You can find out more about this at shreveportcommon.com. Let me talk to you about Prize. You talk about an experience. Coming up October the 13th through the 21st, Prize Fest. It's a competition, yes. It's also a festival, yes.
It's a celebration.
It's a celebration. Film, food, music, fashion, comedy. Yeah, over $100,000 in cash and prizes.
Yeah.
Yes. But it's not about that. It's about so much more. It's really about, everybody loves a good festival. Everybody loves a good contest. But this is about a prize. It's an opportunity for creatives to grow.
That's right.
And to elevate their careers in the culinary arts, in music, in fashion, in filmmaking, in design, and in stand-up comedy. Don't we all want to be a part of that? Of course, of course. So here's what you do. You can buy your passes right now. You can see all the festival and party schedule if you go to prizefest.com. But definitely mark your calendar, October the 13th through the 21st. Get your passes now. prizefest.com. And welcome back into Strategies for Living here on 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Jimmie Bryant, David McMillian, our life strategist today. We are visiting with Wendy Benscoter, the executive director of Shreveport Common, Inc. And you can find out as we're talking about this, if you want the actual pictures, well, just get on your phone, get on your computer, wherever you're listening, ShreveportCommon.com, and you can get an idea. But, I mean, you know, the history here is fabulous. I mean, everything from, I mean, let's start at the, you know, I want to kind of give people an idea. So the Strand Theater is here in this area, in Shreveport Common. The new Asian Gardens of Shreveport at 800 Texas, that's in the Common. The Scottish Rite Cathedral, home of so many events through the years. Oakland Cemetery. We've already mentioned the B'nai Zion Temple. The Shreveport Municipal Auditorium. Elvis has left the building. You know, the new development, the 800 block of Texas Avenue, and I don't even know what to call that, Wendy. Do we call it a park? What do we call that?
Oh, that's Caddo Common Park.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay. And, of course, the You Need a Biscuit Artist Lofts at 711 Milam Street. See, when I first got into radio, I would call on that 711 Milam Street housed a very popular local furniture store back then called Marcus Furniture. Amy Marcus and his wife operated Marcus Furniture at 711 Milam for years and years and years. And then when he got out of the furniture business, he moved to Hot Springs, Arkansas, and he and his wife operated a very successful toy store there called the Toy Chest. And so, as I go back, being around Shreveport my entire life, the history here is just absolutely fascinating.
Well, I want you to know that all of those buildings are going to be open Saturday.
Yeah?
From 1 to 3.
Tell us about it.
It's an amazing open house. I think Scottish Rite might be the only one that we haven't been able to get in touch with yet.
Right.
But all of the other ones you mentioned, 20 of the historic buildings and a couple of the new properties are going to be open.
Wow.
For little open houses from 1 to 3, and then we'll have trolley tour and a shuttle tour that'll take you back and forth. Everything from the Antioch Baptist Church and the B'nai building
Right.
on Cotton Street that you probably haven't been in for a while.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to look inside the former Cresswell Hamilton Hotel that, oh my gosh, that's been sitting there wasting away. And I can't tell you how many people looked at it and said, there's just nothing we can do with it. But 2 young men came to Shreveport and said, well, we're going to do something with it. And they're in their final stages of getting their historic tax credits. They've already cleaned it up, and
so
they're
that
ready
building
to move
is
fast.
sold.
And that building, that's building sold, and it'll start construction probably early next year. But you'll be able to look inside that. You'll be able to see what the beautiful Unita apartments look like.
Yep.
Now the Unita Artist Apartments, they'll
Right.
be open. So every place that you mentioned, Dr. Cheryl White is going to be in the Oakland Cemetery talking about the 5 priests
Right.
who are being named saints for their work with the victims of yellow
Well, they
fever.
hadn't gotten there yet,
They
but they're on. They're on the road.
Trajectory,
Yeah,
right.
they're on the road.
And then they also have the monument to honor
Yellow
the
fever.
yellow fever
yep.
victims.
Yep.
She'll be there to talk about that. If you haven't walked through Oakland Cemetery, especially like this Saturday when it's going to be a beautiful day, it's an amazing place. They're just.
is.
All of these places that I mentioned, the Logan Mansion's going to be open, the Ogilvy Wiener House is going to be open.
How about Church of the Holy Cross?
Church of the Holy Cross is going to be open.
See, that's the original St. Mark's.
It is.
Now, we all think of St. Mark's Cathedral as out on the corner of Fairfield and Line, but the original, St. Mark's was
be
the
open.
Church of the Holy Cross.
It is.
And that's a beautiful building in there.
It is gorgeous.
gorgeous.
They have a one of a kind, or there may be 2 of them, organs that they'll be talking about. You can see that. It's just beautiful. The stained glass windows in the B'nai Zion. I hope you get a chance to see those. And also the Calanthian Temple, which is rarely open, is going to be open that day. It's just an incredible place in this 9-block area. I didn't mention Andrus Garage, which was just a terrible, blighted shell of a garage. For years, if you'd stand on the Strand Theater and look outwards, you're kind of on an angle there.
Right.
You would see that Andrus Garage with the tree growing out of the 2nd floor.
Right.
And now that is a beautiful Andrus Artists and Entrepreneur Center. They'll be open on Saturday as well. So just think about, I know you see when you drive downtown, you might see a few blighted buildings. I think there are 3 left, but those 3 all have owners who are in pre-development and actively seeking tax credits. That's an amazing thing.
That's fantastic.
We've had 33 projects, the construction's completed. 6 are under active construction, and 16 are in pre-development right now in 9 blocks. That's an amazing thing.
So this open house, it takes place between 1 and 3. 1 and 3.
1 and 3.
Okay.
We're actually going to have a community charrette. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But
Okay.
the listening, we're going to go back to those listening sessions. We have a piece of property that we want the community. We want to know what the community thinks we should do with that.
Oh.
Okay, so we're going to do
okay.
that between 11 and 1, and
Okay.
then 1 to 3, the tours start. And it's going to be fast-paced. You're not going to be able to see or linger in all those buildings and get it all
But you
done
can
in
get
2
a
hours.
sense. You
Yes.
can get a sense.
You can. And with the trolleys and the shuttle, you'll be able to at least get in there and see what's happening.
And I got to get on my soapbox for just a second here, Wendy and Jimmie. It is so easy to be negative about Shreveport. And we have so much to be positive about. We've got things like Prize. We've got things like the Robinson Film Center. We've got things like the Strand Theater.
Now,
We've got
David,
things like Shreveport
You're
Common.
listing so much. I would say it's not easy.
Well,
you have to try.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Yeah.
got warts.
You're-
Every city in America has
absolutely,
warts.
absolutely.
That's true.
And so,
And-
you know, I
But
just
let's-
think you.
Let's talk about our good. Let's talk about
Yes.
the richness that is Shreveport, Louisiana.
Well, I want to talk about what came out of those listening sessions that are really the values that the community could. I know you just can't believe this, but the community could not agree on what the area should be.
Yeah.
They just, everyone had their own ideas.
Everybody had their
and
ideas.
believe it or
yeah.
not, they were all passionate about it. I
Yeah.
know you can't find that hard to believe too. But in the end, we were able to stop talking about what it should be and start talking about what your values are for the revitalization. What are your values? And this, the walls of, Post-it notes up, writing down, what people's values were, but it came down to this. And these are the tenets that Shreveport Commons built on that we still hold on to today. Number one, that everything we do is based on the authenticity of the area, the history, the culture, the stories, that there has to be some sort of nod to that. Now, we
Yes.
can't make private citizens with private property adhere to that.
Right.
But, there are some things that help. We're in a historic district. That helps a little bit.
Right.
You can get historic tax credits. That
Yep,
helps a little bit.
That helps a little bit.
But
It's a
also-
heck of an invitation.
Yeah, and also our neighbors really understand what's going on there, so they, that they hold on to that. Well, the people that wanted it to stay, historic, couldn't really agree with the creative people and vice versa. So the other tenet is that everything that we do is creative, that's unique, it's uncommon. And so people couldn't imagine how those two could go together.
Right.
And at the time, they just were happy that both of those were on the list. But if you go into Central Arts Station, that is one place you can see that 1920 building is still a fire station. It is very creative, and you see them working together.
Yeah.
The third
yeah.
thing is sustainability, not just ecologically. So there's a bioswale in the park that captures the rainwater, and
Right.
the lights in Central Arts Station go out when you leave the building. Those kinds of things.
Yeah, yeah.
And those buildings, of course, are very sustainable. The ones that were built to last, and they stay
Right.
cool even in the summertime when they don't have air conditioning. But the idea that it would be that projects are fiscally sustainable too.
Right.
So that anything that we do, we try to acquire real complicated properties that nobody else could buy. That's part of our job in redevelopment. If you could buy it, that's great. We want you to. But if you
yeah,
can't, then
sure.
we help you. And when we look at who that property might go to, we're looking for that sustainability as well. It needs to be something that's not going to disappear in a year.
Right.
And then the last thing is for community. Everybody in our community is welcome.
Yes.
No displacement of the neighbors, no gentrification,
Right.
which was helpful in that creative placemaking.
It's
to
a place
go
for
through
all to come
that it's
together.
Yes,
Yes.
And being able to know what we can do. We can't say 1,000% that it's never going to happen, but we have some things in place that we put in place early on to keep that from happening. So when we talk about these tours that are happening on Saturday, you're going to be able to see that. And when we talk about having these the community charrette or the listening sessions, we're going to be bringing that up.
Mm-hmm.
Any ideas you have need to fit what the values are for the area.
Right.
And also, we've already done the listening sessions with the neighbors because we didn't want their first voice to not be heard because somebody might be speaking too passionately at
Right.
the regular meeting.
Right.
So we went to where they are and we got their, what they wanted to
Their
see.
input and their
yes,
say.
and so the
Yeah.
community's going to be able to see that too. But it's an interesting process, this creative placemaking. It's really, it's just been a beautiful outcome.
We're talking with Wendy Benscoter, the executive director of Shreveport Common. As we're talking, you can go to shreveportcommon.com and find out a whole lot more. Let me talk to you about another very special place. I'm talking about the Robinson Film Center, 617 Texas Street, downtown Shreveport. I mean, you hear me say it over and over because it's true. There's no place like the Robinson.
No place like it.
Abby Singer's Bistro, full-service bistro and bar on the second floor of RFC, open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Saturday. You can go to robinsonfilmcenter.org, find out what's playing. There's always something going on that is, that's fresh and new. The Blind starts September the 28th. A lot of people are looking forward to the blind. You know,
That's right.
Movie about Robinson.
A movie about the dynasty, the beginning of the dynasty.
There you go. There you go. The Robinson. It's the story. It's the true story of the Robinson family.
Yeah.
So you can find out how the dynasty became the dynasty, right?
Yeah.
RobinsonFilmCenter.org. So join the crowd. Join the fun. Get discounts on movies. Get concession upgrades. Get bistro deals. How do you do that? You become a member of Robinson Film Center. That's all. You can find out all about it at RobinsonFilmCenter.org. RFC 617 Texas Street, downtown Shreveport, RobinsonFilmCenter.org. Oh, we're having fun today on Strategies for Living here on 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Jimmie, Bryant, David McMillian, Wendy Benscoter, the executive director of Shreveport Commons, is with us today. And it makes you proud. You know, it makes you proud to be in our city and to be a part and to know that, you know, you go to ShreveportCommon.com and start looking around. If you haven't hung around downtown and this area, this non-block area, it's going to blow you away. It's absolutely going to blow you away. And Wendy, the public, the art in this space, of course, you would expect that, right?
Well, with it being a creative placemaking project, yes.
Yeah.
But what's unexpected for me, you know, I'm not from here. I'm from Houston.
Right.
I don't know if I should say that anymore. I've been saying it for so long now.
Now, you've been here a while, so you're a Shreveporter now.
I am. Look what I'm doing every day. I mean, this is as good as it gets. But to have an arts council, like our arts council.
Yes.
To travel with Pam Atchison and her team, and see how
Pam hadn't Pam done a wonderful job.
Oh my gosh! That you know that she's known nationally for
Yes.
her work. Some of the things that she has that Arts Council have done. Christmas in the Sky, of course, you know, is internationally awarded, but the public art too. I don't know if we mentioned it, but I teach a creative placemaking class. I teach a module in a creative placemaking class that's hosted at different universities this year at Purdue.
Okay.
Wow.
And so when Purdue's advertising the creative placemaking class, they put the public art trees that Bruce Allen and Jim Hayes designed, the late Jim Hayes.
Oh,
and Bruce
Jim.
Allen, they were lit
Wasn't
up.
Jim a wonderful
Oh my
artist?
gosh, I just
Wow.
miss him so much.
Yeah.
But these beautiful 20-foot trees that light up, you know, at night, but also during the day, they're all positioned so the sun comes through the yellow panes.
Yes.
You know, Nobody else has that in the world. Those trees, nobody has that.
Yes.
Nobody has.
But we have them here in
giant dog.
Shreveport.
And the murals were all a part of the Shreveport Common project too. So they are doing their part, not just with public art, but with programming. They've taken on programming the park and writing. They have grants for when others. Artists want to program the park. They're hoping that artists will continue to want to program the park. And I want to say too that if you don't believe that we have that many artists here, I think what you're really seeing is that until recently, Shreveport didn't have a place for artists to show their works,
Right.
or to sell their works. But you can go to the culturalist page. That's what the YST. It's the Louisiana page for website for artists, and you look northwest Louisiana, and you'll see it used to be the Shreveport Regional Arts Council page, but now it's on the state page. And I want you to just look at the quality of the art there, and see that we really have people here who are doing amazing things, and as you said, in film and culinary and textiles, all of it. It's just. I think for people it just seems like so much it might be hard to believe that it's here, but it is here and it's happening.
I know Music Prize or Prize Fest is one of our sponsors. I would say that it would not have been possible for Mr. Kallenberg to have started and maintained Prize Fest without a core, without an infrastructure of local artists.
Well, it's all, I love that word, synergy. And you and I, Wendy, were talking about that word before we went on the air, and I think that's what you're touching on, Jimmie. The synergy that is starting. Synergy. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts, and you're seeing something magnificent unfold here. And Shreveport Common, and I know you call it an uncommon cultural district, and that's so true. It's so true. But it's a big, Shreveport Common is a big part of that synergy.
Yes, and Shreveport Common is, again, it's bigger than 3 organizations. Yes, it's the city of Shreveport and the Shreveport Regional Arts Council, and then later Shreveport Common Inc., because they needed a redevelopment arm to do the work. My work's not the fun work that the Arts Council is doing. It's the work that nobody wanted to do. But it's so much more than that. And when we can start talking about the buildings and the people that are in it, yes, you have the Arts Council and that fabulous Central Arts Station, embedding the arts in a community. Having been to these national conferences, I can tell you that by itself would have won awards.
Yes.
So to think, again, it goes back to the Mayor Cedric Glover putting his arms out and saying, I want you to do a process for this whole blighted area. The community process, the community came together, and each person saying, this is what I can do. This is what I'm going to do with my building. And the mayor standing up and saying at the time, well, we can't ask the public to do it if we're not willing to lift as well.
One of the things you had to say, I'd say this with all due respect to Mayor Glover, he put those arms out. That was a big reach.
It was a big reach.
He's a big reach. He's got big arms that he can take around us. Thank goodness.
And I don't know that there are that many projects where you have that many people that say it was a big lift. To have that many people say, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And so what I want people to see this Saturday is that you have people like Debbie Bryant, who works 3 jobs to pay somebody to help the carpenter to revitalize the old Ogilvy Wiener house, which used to be the Florentine. And it is, the work that's being done is just beautiful.
And she's doing it. She like you say, she's maintaining her job, and it's passion. It's her passion.
It is passion. You mentioned Eric Hess.
Yes, Eric.
Very passionate.
Eric called me and said, well, you got to have Wendy on. And I said, yes, sir.
Well, I appreciate that. I know all of these property owners and the businesses as well, because this is what I do every day. I don't have to worry about what's outside the 9-block area. What I'm focused on is what can I do to help the the neighbors that are here. But the list goes on. You've got Lisa Bruto and the Logan Mansion.
Right.
You've got Jason Brown, who's got the Calanthian Temple. The nonprofits like the Asiana Gardens. It started with a gentleman, and 4 or 5 women who said to the city, if you give us that big piece of concrete, which that's all it was back then, we'll turn it into a beautiful garden to represent, I think it's 27 cultures, Asian cultures that live here.
Yeah.
Is that incredible?
That's
and
awesome.
and then
Yeah.
their festivals are just so much fun to go to. The gardens are beautiful. You have the new Caddo Common Park. That took the whole community. That wasn't one entity. The city found an economic development grant to start it. Caddo Parish Commission said, well, if you can find $1 million, we'll match it. Well, that took a while, but we did, and it was everything from $5 to $300,000. The community came together for that, and so now you have that beautiful park with the amazing Mike McSwain designed pavilion where there's concerts now and performances all the time. Rob Cochran's another one I need to talk about. Rob Cochran's dad, Bob, owned 3 buildings on historic Texas Avenue. The 800 block, is on the National Registry for Historic Places. Right. Well, they weren't really being used. His dad had them for a long time. And,
right.
When he started coming to the meetings for his dad, and he said he bought the buildings from his dad, and by the way, his dad donated one of the parcels that ended up being the park. So now he's got some great loft apartments upstairs and 3 of those buildings, and then businesses downstairs.
That's fantastic.
I mean, I could just go on forever.
And there's more and more to come, right?
Yes.
I mean, there's more and more, like you mentioned, Eric, with the Benazine.
Yes,
that's coming with the Sanctuary Glass Art School and all kinds of things that he's got planned.
Carlos and Brandon that bought the Crestwell Hamilton Hotel.
Right.
And I had shown that building so many times. It was just in terrible shape, and everybody thought it had concrete walls. Those guys moved to Shreveport, and they say, we want it.
Yeah. And then you've got what?
Just in a minute, they're turning it around. They're waiting for the historic tax credits to finish that construction.
Every Man a King?
Every Man a King is slowed down just a little bit. COVID really got in their way.
Right.
But they've got all the windows, the doors in, and they're looking for a partner. They've got it for lease, so some people think it's for sale. It's not. It's for lease.
Okay.
But they're looking for a partner to help them push through now. But they still have big plans for that. A gentleman bought Porter Howard. It seems like it's a little bit past Shreveport Common, but the parking lot is in Shreveport Common, and so the owners want to be in it. Just like the Strand Theater was on the other side of the street, and they said, no, we want to be in Shreveport Common.
Yeah.
So we're talking this 9-block area, long blighted, as I said earlier, and you've got what? $56 million that's been invested.
Yeah, we're up to 58 now. My paperwork is slow to get printed.
Yeah.
But yeah,
but you've got 50 public and private partners involved, and it's growing.
Yes.
Right?
And the partners include all these property owners because again, we're lifting together.
Yeah.
There are a couple of people that just didn't want to play, and that's fine. We can't make anybody.
No.
But as you said, the synergy. I mean, just think about the Corner Lounge has been there forever. I think it's the oldest continuously active gay bar in the country.
Wow.
I think that's true.
Wow.
They do so many events open to everybody.
Right.
And there are a lot of people just like to go there just for fun. They have all sorts of parties and bingos and
sure.
I can't even think of the names right now. My brain's a little tired. But anyway, they're going to be open Saturday. Actually, they found
so
a
they'll be part of the
open
open house. Again, the open house starts at 1 o'clock.
Yes, the trolley and the shuttle will start at 1, and you can just walk.
So is there any particular place in the Shreveport Common where the gathering will start at 1 o'clock?
Well, you can start at Central Arts Station, which they'll have the restrooms there too, but you don't have to. You can park someplace else and jump on a shuttle or walk. It's pretty easy to walk. I walk it myself. And
all right. So if you want more information, ShreveportCommon.com. Wendy Benscoter is the executive director. You can meet her Saturday. I know she'll be there shaking hands if you can find her.
I think I'm on the guide on the trolley.
There you
So I
go.
can find
There you
somebody to do that. Yeah.
Let me talk to you about something that's been going on for 101 years. Of course, I'm talking about Shreveport Little Theater, and everybody's talking about Patsy Cline, right? And it's sold out. They added performances, and those sold out. So look, My Way is coming. That's a tribute to Sinatra,
I want
right?
to do it my way.
And want to do it, but if you want to do it your way, get tickets right now. It starts October the 27th, but you need to get the tickets right now at ShreveportLittleTheater.com. While you're there, think about the season tickets, because you've got the Winter Wonderettes in December.
Yes.
You've got 5 women wearing the same dress in January. You've got Dial M for Murder in February and March, and of course, Jimmy Buffett's Escape to Margaritaville in April. It is American theater at its best. 812 Margaret Place in Shreveport, ShreveportLittleTheater.com. Talk about an uncommon cultural district. That's what we're talking about today here on Strategies. Shreveport Common, ShreveportCommon.com. Wendy Benscoter is the executive director. She's been our life strategist. #1 most outstanding community development project in the nation.
It's not mine, though. I say that all the time. I'm not being humble. It's not mine. It's all of us. I mean,
Yes.
each of us couldn't do it without the other.
Yes.
Well, I want to real quick mention that also it's not just old buildings. MS Kick Incubator Kitchens, new construction designed by Jeff Spikes. And if you haven't been in there, they're an incubator kitchen for chefs that
I've
can rent
heard.
space.
Building
I've
is
heard.
awesome. I think
Yes.
it's a great facility they have.
Well, they're going to be open.
During
serving
the
food from
open
1
house?
to 3.
That's
And then the
great.
last thing I need to tell you is that 959 Texas Avenue is a piece of property that we own, Shreveport Common Inc., that it had some environmental problems, and we're getting ready to find out from the community, as I mentioned, what we might do with that little piece of property.
Right.
But there are going to be people out there from 1 to 3 after the charrette to listen to what the community wants and needs. And if you come tell us what you want and need, you get a free snow cone.
Oh,
Okay.
We can
wow.
also, I don't know if I mentioned that $1,000 prize.
Wait a
but
minute.
We're going to be
You're
kicking
going
off
to give me a snow cone just to come tell you what I think.
what you want and need.
Wendy, thank you for all you're
Thank
doing.
you.
Thank you for being a great life strategist. You're going to have to promise us that you'll come back.
Of course, I'll come back.
And
love to.
Yes.
keep us up to date on what's going on at Shreveport Common. And I plan to see you Saturday.
Great. I'm looking forward
and
to
folks,
it.
I plan to, because what we got to do, Jimmie, is we got to go down and we got to tell them what to do with that building. We want a
Right? I
we
want
want
my
a
snow cone.
studio. Well,
Yes,
you
he
want a
wants
snow
a
cone.
snow cone.
I want a studio for strategies for living. That's
there
what
you
I
go.
got. There you
like
go.
that.
We used to have a radio station.
And
down
then
there, so.
then I'll join you with my snow cone too.
Come on.
Wendy, thank you so much. Look forward to the next time that you come back. Folks, thank you for tuning into Strategies for Living. And you're the reason we do this each and every day. So thank you. And the reason we can do it is because of our sponsors, Azalea Cleaners and the Robinson Film Center and Pintail Roofing and Learning RX and Hempress, Cannabis with Love, 3766 Uri Drive in Shreveport, and the Shreveport Little Theater, and Prize Fest, a festival of film, food, music, fashion, and stand-up comedy. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call that you could make, who would you call? And what would you say? And why are you waiting? Make the call. For Jimmie Bryant and for Wendy Benscoter, I'm David McMillian. See you next time on Strategies for Living.